Tonight is Dr. Nettleman, and Dr. Tony Nettleman is a surveying engineer who teaches surveying exam prep, which is what we've been talking about the whole time, and continuing education courses for attorneys and surveyors, and serves as an expert witness in boundary, easements, and title disputes. He's a licensed attorney, professional surveyor, and a mapper PSM in Florida, and a registered professional land surveyor in Texas. Also holds a PhD in geomatics, a JD law degree, an MS in geospatial surveying engineering, and a BS in surveying engineering. Tony loves school, and he can be contacted at cnettleman.net, which I'll throw in there. Specialties include land law, geographic information system, land information systems, boundaries, easements, title, littoral, and riparian disputes. And then tonight, so we always okay, I'll let one more in. We always kind of start the year off. We started this what January 8th. We did another project management software, which I'm always kind of January. I like to do things to kind of get things organized. And so Tony says, why not old dogs can learn new tricks, which is always a fun title. And so Tony was just kind enough to spend his time with us as always again, and see what we can do to get organized and ready to go for 2024. So I'll turn it over to you, and I'm sure we'll have a fun interactive conversation tonight, as always, when we have your
Yeah, thank you.
so
I promise I'm going to keep this to 1 hour because
perfect.
I like to go two or three. We go out plenty of hours, but 1 hour is good enough. And, everybody starts off the year thinking, oh, I have these amazing New Year's resolutions, right? I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to feel better. I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to, work harder. I'm going to make more money. I'm going to save $1 million. It's just incredible, all these New Year's resolutions. And if you look up, what really happens, none of it. I mean, basically none of
Right.
it ever happens because we are a system of habits. I've got a morning routine, I've got an afternoon routine, I've got an evening routine, go through the routine, try to break it, just can't do it. I mean, it feels impossible. But one of the biggest resolutions people have is I'm going to make more money, I'm going to work harder, I'm going to do all this amazing career stuff. And again, it doesn't happen. But I think that instead of thinking about your career and your business in the new year, think about your own life. Like, what do you want out of your life? Because people go through day to day, the routines, the habits, whatever, and they never really achieve what they want, or they're so busy doing their, minute habits, they don't get to the big stuff. And, someone told me years ago, go look at a cemetery. Everybody in that cemetery had big plans for like next week, next year, whatever. Didn't happen. So, what I'm asking you guys is, first of all, to appreciate that each of you deserve to live your ideal life. Absolutely deserve it. But, few people realize the big things they want to accomplish in their life. And, you have to really not plan the usual new year, the SMART. Your habits are specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and have timing addressed to it. Well, instead of worrying about your goals, which never really happen because your habits get in the way, let's think about, what is your ideal life? Now, I'm going to start things off with something I read from this book called EOS Life, which is the Entrepreneurial Operating System. Really nice book. The guy sold his company. He made like deca millions recently, and he was bored, so he wrote another book. So it's the original founder of EOS who sold the business, and he came out and wrote a really short book for the new year. And I've been reading it, and it's really kind of similar to eMyth. It's similar to Strategic Coach. So it's nothing really earth shattering, but I'm going to share this with you. Share the notebook, and I'm just going to zoom in, and you guys tell me if you can see this little diagram here. S
You're
yeah,
good.
so
Yep.
it says, you deserve 5 things. So number one, doing what you love. Number two, with people you love. Number three, making a huge difference. Number four, being compensated appropriately. Number five, finding time for other passions. The EOS guy obviously is a workaholic because he made an entrepreneurial operating system. But think of this as kind of your game plan, or at least what you want to achieve, the end result. And think about this. So, number one, doing what you love. When I see that, I think of what I call the unique ability. That's from Dan Sullivan's Strategic Coach. And, the unique ability says that it is, I'm going to stop sharing this and pick up. Oh, yeah, I'm still sharing it. Okay.
Yep.
So, unique ability is something that you are uniquely good at. So, something you're really skilled at, something you have a passion for, something that gives you more energy than takes away. And then something you're willing to always be improving on that subject. So, for example, I feel like one of my unique abilities is teaching. Another one of my unique abilities is boundary retracement. Been doing a lot of boundary retracement the past years, and it seems simple, but gathering the evidence, it's not as simple as it seems, because you have to have the equipment, you got to have the knowledge, you got to have the resources, so I feel like when I do a boundary retracement, I have more energy when I finish than when I started. Now, a lot of tasks like answering emails, dealing with frustrated clients, it takes energy out of you. But I want to ask you guys, what do you think is your unique ability? So, something you're really good at, something you have fun with, something that gives you energy, and something that you're always learning about. What do you guys think is your unique ability? And you say it on the video, you can type it in the chat, whatever you guys want to do.
My superior skill is always, for me, it's having fun with business. Passion would be anything to do survey profession. People call me crazy, but Oregon last week I just did a presentation on the key strategies to a successful survey business, and then of course I did another one on outreach. And so those are what drive me. Anything to uplift the survey profession is what I do. And then to burn off energy, flip side would be running half marathons like a crazy man. So
Yeah, that's great. Trent has a very successful business.
yeah.
I don't know how Trent has so much energy, because he's always going places, always doing things. I'm friends with Facebook with
Yeah, yeah,
Trent,
yeah.
and he's just all over the country all the time. I
All the
mean, I
time.
take one trip and I'm exhausted. Trent takes like 5 trips in a week. Can't even. Yeah.
I love Jerry's.
Jerry says unretiring. Yeah, that's
My,
true.
yeah,
Solving difficult problems. Yeah, it gives you energy. You're good at it. You have
yeah,
fun. That's a great one.
yeah.
Annoying my county surveyor. Yeah, that could be it. Operations efficiencies, putting the right people in the right position. Okay, it's like
Yeah.
HR, like, talking with people, knowing. It sounds like Troy's unique ability is helping others find their own unique ability
There you go.
you know so you've got to be able to really think about, what are you good at, what do you have fun doing, and what gives you that energy to keep going. Because if you go to work and hate your job, you're like three-fifths the other people. It's awful. Okay. Solving issues that you didn't know were there in CAD. Okay, yeah, I know all my issues in CAD. I don't even try to run that stupid thing. All it does is frustrate the crap out of me. This is great.
There's
And
some good ones. So you have to see the backstory of Josh's his he hasn't taken a vacation since 2006, we joke him, or 2016, whatever the hell it is. So he had to put in their vacation because he
we're going to come to that. We're going to
yeah,
come to that.
there you go.
We're,
Good.
we're going to
He's
coach
gonna
Josh
he's gonna
through
learn about
his.
vacation in a
Yeah,
minute.
that's awesome. Well, so many people have no idea what their unique ability is. Like, they just go to the job, they get the work done, they go home, they have their weekend, whatever. But you've got to find something that you really enjoy, that you're good at, that you can get compensated for. And, it could be a job, it could be charity work, it could be taking care of your kids really well, whatever it is, everybody has some unique ability. And one of the strategic coach forms exercises is to write 3 columns on a sheet of paper: A, B, and C. So A is the stuff you're really good at, you enjoy. B is the stuff you kind of get along with, but you doesn't really add or subtract energy. And C is just like the crap you have to do every day to just, whatever, administrative stuff. And the trick is, from this is from EOS life, delegate each one of those things every quarter. So take one of those C items, delegate it, delegate it, delegate it, get to the B's, delegate it, delegate it. Now, I'm not sure how much you could really delegate, because like I really enjoy boundary retracement, but I have to go to court to defend it. And I just went through a 2-day deposition. It was the dumbest deposition. Like, they had me drawing boxes on like papers and just like ridiculous stuff, trying to waste, $50,000 of someone else's time. And, the attorney's like, oh, we'll just get through this and whatever. So, I mean, you have to do some things you don't like, but try to get rid of as much of it as you possibly can. Okay, so number 2, with the people you love. We have a rule where before we hire anyone, we say a prayer to keep the crazy people away, because the one crazy person in the office will drain the energy of everyone else there. Same thing for clients. You get like one crazy client per year and you had 100 successes, but the one crazy person drains all the energy from the 100 successes. You've got to be able to limit people in your life. And, you know, sometimes it means having difficult conversations, telling people to go away. And they could be family members. I've got a family member and she is one of a kind and she's bothering everybody. And I had to tell her, start of 2024, I said, you pull any of your bullshit this year, you're going to court. I took her there last year, and guess what? She's been pretty quiet the whole 2024. So got to keep people straight, making a huge difference, being compensated appropriately. And I think the last one is really important, especially for, was it Josh that was here with the vacation? Yeah. With
Exactly.
time for other passions. So let me ask you this, guys. Everybody talks about surveying because this is Mentoring Mondays and we're all going through surveying, try to do a better job. But what do you guys enjoy doing other than surveying? How about that?
Photography and running.
Photography and running. Okay.
There you go. Josh, come on, you got to speak up.
Traveling. That's great. Adventure motorcycling. Wow, that sounds exciting.
That does a good one. Josh unmuted. Let's see what he's got.
Grandkids,
He only knows how to work.
grandkids, and actually trying to get the Survey Society.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Well,
I'm broke in a non let's go out and survey sort of way.
Yeah.
okay, grandkids are good. Traveling, motorcycles, jigsaw puzzles, golf, all this is great. I have a father-in-law, Ronnie, and he has no hobbies. And he retired because of his health and because his wife basically made him stop working. But it's just miserable when you have nothing to do. You're like, you got to have a hobby. You got to have something fun. And
I want to go back to Aiden. Aiden's writing music. So
wow.
How are we going to get a survey related? There's a couple of songs sometimes I hear, I'm like, ooh, if they just added the word surveyor in there, that would be just perfect in that song. So
that's great.
That's a good
writing
one.
Music. What kind of music do you write, Aiden?
I know.
What's the genre?
I write all kinds of, from hip hop to contemporary Christian music.
Okay.
Fun.
Do you record any of it? Does other people record it, or do you record it? How does that work?
Yeah. I record. It's been a while, but in the past, yeah, put songs on Spotify and YouTube.
That's great.
Awesome. Yep. I love it.
That's awesome. That's a good, you have to have a hobby that takes your mind away from things. So
Exactly.
I feel like writing music would be a really good, way to immerse yourself in your hobby and not worry about the other stuff going on. And it's amazing how much time we spend worrying about stuff, especially work, that really won't matter. you know, they say getting ready to take my CFI certified flight instructor exam, and I read that the definition of anxiety is worrying about things that may never happen. So it's worrying about things in the future. And it's amazing how much anxiety everybody has. So yeah, this is great. Jigsaw puzzles, that's a great adventure motorcycling. Brenda, where have you been traveling?
Well, she
Mostly casinos.
I love
That's
it.
awesome. That's awesome.
I mean, honesty's honesty's there, right? We like to watch a lot of sports, so um, where where better to go than the casino?
That's great. That's awesome. Wh-
Mhm.
Every year I find a derelict airplane sitting in some ramp or some hangar and fix it up and make it super nice, like new paint, new interior, new avionics, new engine, propeller, all that stuff. And then at the end of the year, I get to play with it for a while and I resell it and make some money. So you got to have something to keep your mind off of surveying. So that's really important. And getting back to the what we're doing with our lives. I was reading a book called Principles by Ray Dalio, and he's a famous stock trader. And he said that time is like a river that carries us forward into encounters with reality that requires us to make decisions. And the scary part is, number one, there's no going back and there's no stopping, right? You're constantly traveling on this river down flow. And the other really scary part about it is you have no idea when the river is going, when it's gonna be like a giant waterfall and you're gonna go straight off the river and it's over. So, it could be like Niagara Falls tomorrow, and it could be Niagara Falls in 50 years. You have no idea. So a lot of people use that excuse to say, well, I have no idea when I'm gonna live or die or be sick or be healthy. So why should I bother planning anything? Why waste my time? And those are the people who do the same thing year after year with very little results. So, I mean, yes, my barber was playing tennis and they looked over and some guy that was like 30 years old dropped dead of a heart attack playing tennis. Their tennis partner just dropped dead and there was no like CPR, everything. He was completely dead, like instantaneously. Who knows why? But, you can't really get caught up in when the Niagara Falls is going to appear. You just kind of have to appreciate that you've got a limited amount of time and you have to use that time as effectively as possible. But we want to have fun, we want to enjoy life, we want to get stuff done. So how exactly do you manage all these competing interests? Well, one of the programs I've been using for a couple of years is called E-Myth, which is the myth that just because you're a business owner makes you a good entrepreneur. No, it just makes you a miserable business owner. So, you know, E-Myth, just like EOS and Strategic Coach, they're not really a business coaching. They're really more of a life coaching program for business owners. So, one of the exercises they give you is called the primary aim. And I want to go through this for half an hour with you guys. And first of all, appreciate that, the point of this exercise is to put your life first, because most small business owners have a business that runs them. And I've been there because running a business is difficult. Trent works a lot of hours too, but Trent also has a lot of time for his family. He gets to do his marathons. He goes and puts on seminars for workforce development for free. I'm sure he's paying his own travel expenses. So, there's lots of different things you want to do other than work. So let's go through these questions together. And I've got my chat box open here so I can see all your responses. So, first of all, we're going to go through and have a whole list of questions, and we may spend some time on others, not a lot of time on some. But first of all, what do you want your life to look like and feel like? That's the first question. So, somebody, one or two of you guys tell me, just generally speaking, what do you want your life to look like? And there's no wrong answer.
Don't be shy.
Less stressful. Okay, respected. That's great. So for mine, I want to have fun personally and I want to have fun professionally. I want to help others do big things. And most importantly, I want to use my time as I please. Like if I want to go to work, I go to work. If I don't want to work today, I don't work today. I go flying or I go watch television or read a book or whatever. If I don't want to go to work today, I'm not going to. More time, free time, less stress, finding more purpose. That's great. Engaged. That's really important. Yeah, you want to do something that you really enjoy, and you want to feel like you're spending your time like you want to. You want to have a good time. All right, how about this one? What do you value most? What do you guys value most?
I would hope everybody says family first, but life or family, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's what I always say, family first, family first.
Yep.
Well, my E-Myth coach said, well, you put your family first, but if you're in poor health,
Right.
is that going to help your family or is that going to put your family at risk? I
It's
went
more
out and bought
risk.
a lot of life insurance, that's for sure. So if I dropped dead tomorrow, who
Yeah.
cares? They can go retire in Palm Beach.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's hard
yeah,
to that one's hard to say, put yourself first, right? I mean, in theory,
yeah,
you're supposed to, but
it is. It
so
is
it's
very
yourself,
difficult.
it's yourself and family. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, so rule number one, buy yourself a lot of life insurance, start start fresh this year. It's pretty cheap. You can get pretty substantial 7-figure life insurance for not a lot of money. Time, family. So here's what I said. I said, what matters? What do you value most? What I value most is seeing the people I've helped succeed later in life. So I go to these state conferences a few times a year. It's amazing how many students have come up and said, hey, I took your class 15 years ago, your intro to surveying at Troy University, and hey, I'm licensed. It's like, wow, that's amazing. It's so you've gone from a freshman student to a project manager to a business owner. That's a big deal. A lot of people still have the same crappy job they had 15 years ago. So you really moved up in the world. I also said freedom to do what I enjoy and skip the rest. So, delegate the crap to other people and then do what I enjoy. Still working on that one some of the time, because as the business owner, you kind of have to take, the nasty stuff with the good stuff, but definitely doing more fun stuff than I did a few years ago. And a lot of these questions are kind of similar, right? Like, what do you value the most? What matters the most at this point in your life? So it's all kind of similar, but it's trying to draw out exactly what you want, because you're going to see themes here. You're going to see, what do you want your life to look like? I want to spend more time with my kids. What do you value the most? My family. What matters most in your life? So you're going through this, trying to figure out exactly what all this is that you really want, because we're going to use all these questions later on in the different section of this. This is a good one. How do you want your life to feel on a day-to-day basis? I wrote here, not bored. Like you sit through a 2-day deposition and be asked stupid questions like, I am so bored. Like I could just poke my eye out with a pencil, so bored. But, then again, you do a boundary retracement survey. You're out in the morning, you get to watch the sunrise. It's really pretty. You get to see some animals. You get to, shoot a 22 at an alligator, you're not bored, not bored at all. So this is a good one. What would you like people's perceptions of you to be? What do you guys think? How would I saw someone said respected. That's a great one.
Yeah, I was gonna say man of your word, right? Or woman of your
Yeah,
word. Yep.
honest
Yes.
and professional.
Yep.
That's great.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
I think I wrote helpful and working on their behalf, putting their interest before my interest. A winner. Okay.
Yep.
Professional, respected, all that's good.
Yep.
Oh, this is a great one. What are your daydreams about? Like you're sitting in your office, you're driving to work. Like if I could just go do this, I'd be so much happier. Like I don't want to go to work today, or maybe you do want to go to work. Maybe you daydream about going to find survey monuments. Every time I go on vacation, I've got to find one or two brass caps, and it's very entertaining. It's amazing. Find a vertical monument at the post office, all kinds of cool stuff. So, yeah, what do you guys daydream about? Like, I wish I could go do X right now. Daydream about finding my freedom. Okay. Daydream about lounging in the sun on a beach. Okay, I like that. That's really specific. Winning the lotto for enough to retire tomorrow. Yeah, daydreams are good, but I feel like the daydreams have to be, something you can like do. Like you have no power to win a lottery for yourself. It's all random. But like going to a beach, Aiden could definitely book a trip to the beach even for a day. I've seen Trent take several day trips, like fly
Exactly.
into a football game or whatever it is, and
Right.
fly out in the evening.
Exactly.
I don't have that much energy, but you know, daydreaming about having time to daydream. Okay, well maybe Josh, you need to do less this year. That's what I figured out last year. I just had too many goals, too many things I wanted to do, and a lot of them got done, but a lot of them didn't get done. So maybe you should get rid of some people in your life, some obligations in your life, and then have more time to daydream. That's my plan. Okay, good. Get rid of all these people. Do you ever find yourself wishing you were different? Yeah, I don't really think I've ever thought about that. Like, I don't really want to change anything about myself. But, oh, here's a great one. Of all the things you've done in your life, what has given you the most satisfaction or pleasure? This is a great prompt. I don't know what I wrote in this. This has been a while. Oh, yeah. My wife and my family seeing successful students. Yeah, I get a lot of emails from successful students passing their exams. It's much happier than getting nasty emails from attorneys. It's amazing how few attorneys have ever said thank you, even after winning the case. Like you spend 5 years, we won. Okay, here's last invoice. See ya.
Right.
What? So, I think what gives me energy is seeing successful students pass their exams. That's a great thing. What else? What else? What gives you lots of successful kids? That's a great one. Yep. If you no longer had to work, how would you be spending your time? Oh, this is a good one. Like I could never imagine myself not working because I enjoy what I do. I don't really feel like it's work a lot of the time. Sometimes I do, but um I said probably the same as now. I'd spend if I had no income obligation, no bills to pay, I'd still probably do about the same thing. You
Nice.
teach and train the profession. Okay, that's great. So if you had, I feel like if it should say like if money was no object, or if you had no obligations, like
Yeah.
if you no longer had any financial obligations, what would you do? Helping out people in need? Okay, that's great. My friend Evans retired from banking at I think 50 or 55, pretty young, and became a surveyor shortly after that, just out of boredom. But he's almost 80 years old now, and it's amazing how much stuff you can find to do when you're not working anymore. Like I'm gonna help out with the radio club. I'm gonna volunteer to bring some meals to people on the holidays. It's just incredible how much you can find to do when you're not working. Now, as you can see, these questions started off kind of surface level. And now we're getting into these things like, what is missing from your life? I'm terrified to ask this question. Oh man, what did I write for this one? More time for big ideas. That's what I put down. So I like thinking of new products, new ideas. I don't really like putting them together a lot of the time. So I need to have um, someone help me write this 1,000 questions book. Just writing 1,000 questions is a great idea. People want the book, but it's can get really monotonous very quickly doing 10 questions a day. Traveling with the wife, building things for family. Okay, that's great. More meaningful friendships. Okay, that's a great one.
Hmm.
And friendships take a lot of time. You meet somebody, you get to know each other. It takes years to develop a friendship. So it's not like, you can find one in a quick minute. More time to finish what I start. Extra finances will help. Yeah, I agree. And it's difficult because a lot of the stuff you want to do takes money. It takes resources to do. I want to build a house. I want to fix up a classic car. I want to do all this stuff. And I think the rule, Clifford, is not extra finances, but just focusing on what really matters. So really using your money effectively because it can walk off if you're not watching what it's doing. Oh, here we go. What is your greatest strength and what is your greatest weakness? So what do you guys think? What is your greatest weakness? I put here easily annoyed with other people. Yes. Yeah, I can tell you all about that today.
It's funny. Mine's the unorganized organization.
Okay. Not being organized, it's a big one.
No, I'm organized. It just looks like a mess, right? It's that
Okay, so on the
that messy
surface,
desk, but you know where
it
everything
looks
is,
like you're disorganized, but really
Yeah.
you got it all together.
right?
Okay.
Exactly.
Annoyed by engineers who think they can survey. Yeah, that is true. I can tell you about that. Time management and not willing to delegate. That's a huge one because, if you're going to accomplish anything, you've got to be able to delegate stuff because somebody said in the OS, if you do not have a personal assistant, it's you. And I was like, what does that mean? Well, it means that if you don't have a personal assistant, you're the one running everything and trying to run your business and trying to deal with your personal stuff.
Yep.
Lack of filter. Okay, that's a good one too. Now that may be a strength, but at certain levels it could become a weakness for sure. Yeah, time management. That's a tough one too. And the E-Myth has a time management exercise where you log all your time and you look for what's called, I think they call it like time bandits, the thing that's sucking up your time and wasting it. And I feel like I don't have any real time bandits. Like I'm a very good manager of my time, but delegation is really difficult for sure. What else? Oh yeah, this is a great one. So no tolerance for real estate agents. I had a real estate agent write a contract for a property and put in a completely bogus legal description, 100% bogus. They closed on the property, and then these people tried to use the legal description in their real estate contract to prove their boundary. And I was like, well, shame on you for, first of all, shame on the buyer's agent for doing this mistake. Shame on the seller's agent for accepting it because the seller's agent had the client sign it with a bad legal description. It was completely BS. They copied from the tax assessor's office, which is even funnier. And then shame on, the parties for not looking at it. Like, but the realtors are the ones who are supposed to have your best interests, whatever. Well, there are some realtors who are good at negotiating. There are some realtors who are good at, like finding you properties. There are some realtors who just talk a lot. I have a realtor named Jeff, and Jeff just talks. He'll tell you anything. Like, do you think this property is a good value? Should I buy it? Oh yeah, that's a fantastic value. It's a horrible value. He has no idea what he's talking about. Or like, you say, Jeff, this seems really cheap, or this seems really expensive. Oh no, that's a great deal. That's a fantastic deal. Has no idea what's right or wrong. Just tells you anything you want to hear. You know, that's the typical realtor. They just tell you anything. And oh yeah, they were all trained in Behar County. Yeah, exactly. That's so funny. Yeah, Bear County, if you talk to anyone who's never been there, they call it Bexar County, and that's how you know they have absolutely no clue where they are, what they're talking about. Yeah. I think all the realtors go to the same school where they don't intentionally mislead anybody. They just have no idea what they're doing. They're just, you know, just flying by the seat of their pants, trying to sell some property and make some money and then move on to the next victim. So how about this? What don't you want in your life? This is great. Because this is going to help narrow down exactly what you want to get rid of this year. What do you not want in your life? How about a couple answers from the gallery?
Your time bandits.
Yeah.
Drama. I was
Drama.
anyone
Yep.
with negativity.
Ignorance from upper management. Yep.
Yeah.
Time bandits. That's absolutely true. I put here consulting clients do not appreciate me. Yeah. Test prep students who are not willing to put in the time. We have these students who call in and like try to purchase. They're like, well, my exam's in 2 days. And I was like, and I've told Chris, the lead conversion gentleman who does a really good job, I said, if you meet these people, tell them do not purchase. Tell them just go do your exam. If you pass it, that's fantastic. You don't waste your $1,000, $1,500. If you do not pass it, come back and we'll help you over a few month period. But if you think that you're going to take a course over 2 or 3 days or even 2 or 3 weeks and you know, just because you spend the money means you're going to pass it, you got to stop. So don't sell courses to people who are not qualified, please, because they make everyone else's crazy. Half-ass effort. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So many people who just kind of get by, like they'll do a decent enough job. And somebody told me, I think I was at a Dave Ramsey seminar years ago, and he said there's 2 types of people. There are the donkeys and there are the thoroughbreds. And if you put one donkey with all the thoroughbreds, they're going to make all the other thoroughbreds turn into donkeys. It's like Cinderella. So you've got to get rid of all the donkeys. The liars and dirty cheats in this world. That's funny. I don't think I'm familiar with many of Taylor Swift's songs. That sounds funny. Standards. Fear of messing up. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, all these are great. I also put sitting around my desk, pushing papers and dealing with minor problems. Yep. So, you know, now we come to, I'm going to skip over what you do want because we talked about that a lot. And, you know, you can start by thinking about like, you know, something is important in your life. Like, here's a good one. I had this one, good clients. So finding good consulting clients was an important thing in my life last year. And one of the barriers is me letting these people in. Like I talk to them before they sign up and they sound kind of like on the fence. They sound decently qualified. They sound like they need help. They also sound like they're not willing to listen to my advice sometimes, like they want to do their own thing. I let them into practice sometimes because I'd like to make another $50,000. But then I realize it's not worth the trouble. Trent, we know who this is. Yeah, this is great. I found that I am the biggest barrier. Yeah, that's true. You know, a lot of times people get in their habits or they're scared. You know, a lot of people are scared to change. You know, what's going to happen in my life if I change whatever? Another one I put down here, important thing, more profit in the business. And I put as the barrier, me spending personal funds from the account. Yeah, I can buy a lot of airplane parts. Everything's expensive. You know, in aviation, we talk about AMUs, and it's called aviation monetary units. It's $1,000 unit. So like 3 AMUs is $3,000. And people have learned when they're on the phone and they're ordering something, they don't say like, it's going to, oh, $3,000, here's my credit card, because their wife is listening. So
Mhm.
instead they say, oh, it's going to be 3 AMUs. Okay, no problem. And if you're asked by your spouse, like, what is an AMU? Say, oh, it's just it's just an airplane part. Don't worry about it.
That's funny.
It would be funny if it wasn't true. So yeah, a lot of stuff you want in life, a lot of barriers. And if you write down like what is the barrier blocking you from the important thing, it makes it much easier to plan around the barrier to deal with it. You know, like I want to travel more, but my barrier is finances. Well, maybe I should cancel a few subscriptions or do something and then put the money toward travel. So this is a good exercise. Now, y'all can go through and think about, you know, core values. That's really important. One of the most difficult things about this exercise is writing your own eulogy. It's pretty interesting, and this actually serves double purpose, as you can write your own eulogy to focus on what you want, and you can also put this in your legacy drawer, and you can have your eulogy ready for you whenever the time comes. So, you know, plan ahead, right? So this is a really difficult exercise, and we're definitely not going to do it in, you know, 5 minutes. I had to run this exercise 2 or 3 or 4 times over a year on all the other stuff above it before I could write my own eulogy. It's difficult. You know, writing your own eulogy is a very personal, emotional thing to do. And a lot of people will kind of skip over it. They'll make it kind of funny because they're nervous about, you know, writing your own eulogy. But it's really important because, you know, when I wrote my eulogy, what I realized was that I really wanted, you know, students who could use the knowledge they got from me um, years and decades later. So, you know, they say, teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Well, teach someone to fish. That's important. Also had a great family, had lots of family time, you know. So when I read my eulogy about having lots of great vacations with my family, guess what I did? I planned 4 vacations every year with my family. So you're going to look at your eulogy and look forward and think, well, what do I need to do to make that happen? So if your eulogy says he loved his family and had lots of great memories, including big vacations, get some vacations going. Whoever said vacations up here, was that Josh?
Yeah.
Get some vacations booked, because if you work all the time, you're going to get less done anyways. So there's no harm in taking plenty of time off. So in the end, you know, you've got this thing called a primary aim. And I said, you know, the essence of my primary aim is to use my surveying knowledge to create the next generation of surveyors while having the time, money, and freedom to enjoy my family and grow personally. So I want to have a great business teaching surveying. I want to have lots of great time with my family. And I want to have fun in my hobbies as well, because you got to have something else to do. So this is like a 1 sentence, 2 sentence, really brief primary aim. And again, we're not going to write this while you're on a Zoom call because it takes a lot of time to think about it. But you guys can watch this video on YouTube, posted every week. Go back and use this. You know, I can't give this to you as it's, the E-Myth is very copyright adverse, we'll say, but I can use it for my personal use. So you guys can go back and reproduce this if you want to. Now, the last part of this is probably the most important. And I go over my personal objectives every week. You know, I start off Monday morning. I run my weekly flow where I get cleaned up. I check my emails, get my papers taken care of. But before any of that, I go through my primary aim and I look at what I want to do this year and 6 months and a year. And you can change all this. Like you can make it 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. You can make whatever categories you want. And it's really, really helpful because it's fun to, it's really fun to look at it and check things off. Like in 2022, I wanted to get my Ohio, West Virginia, Nevada, and Kentucky licenses. That's basically one license per quarter. And guess what? I only got 3, but still 3 licenses, pretty good for a year, right? But it's not just about, oh, eMyth and Profit First are both Spotify Premium. Okay, so y'all can listen to this. I'll have to also share with you guys a program called Libby, Libby. It's a library ebook reader where you can sign up with your local library, get ebooks for free. You can get all these books at no cost. And if you YouTube Libby, they will tell you what libraries you can sign up for free. So like I'm enrolled in 5 libraries, like random libraries like Broward County, Florida, Clark County, Nevada. You don't have to be a citizen to get a library card. And if you get 5 accounts, you're pretty much guaranteed to find the book you want without waiting. So sign up for a bunch of accounts to get these free books. But, think about like business, annual income, personal growth, family and relationships. One of the best things I did was I started doing in 2021 4 vacations a year. So I take off 1 week at the end of every quarter, no matter what. So it's scheduled every single year, recurring every time. And the past couple years, I did like random vacations, like go to the beach, go to the lake, go see family, whatever. And it made it a little complicated. So I decided this year I would have a theme for every quarter. So like a couple's vacation, my wife, flying vacation, go to Alaska for the week, go fishing for a week, like go to Bimini or something, and then a family vacation, like something stupid, like Great Wolf Lodge or something the kids would enjoy more than I would. So, having a really good outline of vacations. How about personal development? Everyone talks about business. I wanted to get a seaplane rating. I wanted to fly 50 hours on one of my airplanes. I wanted to become a certified flight instructor. It didn't happen last year. So you've really got to put the categories that matter into your primary aim and then make a goal. So here's a good one. How about hobbies and pastimes? What are you guys going to put on your list for hobbies this year? Specific hobbies, like learn to hot air balloon or learn to scuba dive. What do y'all have for your hobbies this year?
More golf.
More golf. Now, how about this? So instead of more golf, how about golf 1 weekend a month at a different golf course?
There you go.
Because I know you get around a lot in
That's
different,
right.
different places.
That's right.
And that way, what I like to do is I like to put, this is 12. So I'll put in 12 spaces here, 2, 4. Let's try that again.
Oh, you only get 6 on that one.
2, 4, 6, yeah, something like that, whatever.
There you go.
And you put your spaces for 12, and every month, because you're reviewing this every week, every Monday when you start up. So you're like, well, it's February 1st and I missed my golf day for January. What should you do? Walk out, go golfing. Cross stitching, yeah, that's great. 10 plus powder days skiing.
There you go.
Okay.
There you
So
go.
that sounds like a once a month kind of deal too, just like Trent's golf outing.
That's right.
At least once a month. Golf, yep. More fishing, hiking, boating. Now this is where the smart goals really come into play, because like Aiden says he wants to record an album. So this is a good one for it sounds like personal development to me, because it takes a lot of work. This isn't really a hobby. This is like almost a job, but it's a, after time job. So, Aiden can break that down and think like, well, how do I record an album? Well, I got to write 12 songs for the album. Okay. Well, how do I write a song? Well, there's 5 steps in writing a song, like brainstorming, writing, editing, whatever. You've really got to get specific, otherwise it's not going to happen. Major purchases, that's a great one to have, because I've been saying this for years. Like, I'm going to buy a piece of property and build an airstrip and build a house. So I'm tired of the HOA I live in. And every year it's like, well, other things come up, other things come up, other things come up. So you got to get really specific. Like, you got to buy a property, number one, you got to design your house, number two, you got to find a builder, you got to do, get started on the construction, and there's going to be, dollars involved in that. So not only set your timeline, but also set your budget. How about education and personal development? This is a good one. So for me, this is outside of surveying. It's going to be getting my certified flight instructor and my instrument rating. So that's my CFI, CFII. And that's going to take, 3 months and say $3,000. So that's a good budget. What about you guys? I mean, what kind of personal development other than surveying are you guys doing? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great. So the CST is I like to have professional growth here too, because I hate when my business mixes in my personal life. Like, I want to just be able to enjoy things without worrying about the business. So definitely put CS2 and CS3, CST3 for Troy. That's a great one. What else? I mean, learn a language. One of my things is I'm going to learn CPR and first aid, because I feel like that's really important, not only for the business side, but also, I mean, you witness a car wreck a lot of the time. All kinds of crazy stuff happens where you could use these personal aid skills. Learn about making YouTube videos. Okay. What's your hobby, Sean, for YouTube? What are you going to make the video on?
Probably like woodworking or maybe fly tying or something like that.
Nice. Yeah, that's
Yep.
great. I love fly tying videos. And what frustrates me so much is that I can make these beautiful flies. Like, I have my stuff back here, my fly tying kit and everything. And you know what the fish eat? They eat the stupid worms. Like, you put a string on a hook and they love the worms the best. So it takes 15 seconds to build a worm and they eat it every time. But if you spend an hour building this like intricate like dragonfly, they're not interested. It's complete crap. And woodworking is a great hobby because it really takes your mind. It's very all encompassing, right? Like, you're really focused on you have to pay attention, because you can take your finger off. There's all kinds of bad stuff that can happen when you're not paying attention woodworking. So that's a good one. What else? I mean, what other kind of personal and professional development do you guys have that you want to do for the year?
Aiden's going to record a album in Spanish too.
That would be awesome. That'd be a great way to learn Spanish and get your album out of the way, really.
Yeah, it would.
Volunteer at the Main Street Cowboy. What is the Main Street Cowboys?
Oh, in Pendleton even. Oh.
Is that a music group, or are you herding cattle? What is that?
It's hold on. Get my video going.
Nope, you're good.
No, that's during the Pendleton Roundup.
Pendleton Roundup. So
Okay.
So
That's
down on
cool.
Main Street, there's a separate group called the Main Street Cowboys. They have the booths and everything during the Pendleton Roundup, which is down at the grounds, but down Main Street is the Main Street Cowboys.
Okay, that's awesome. The takeaway for this short video, guys, is to remember that it's not just about work. Like, everybody, like, who's ever like on their deathbed and think, oh, I wish I would have worked a few more days. Like, I don't think so. We all really enjoy our work, and I have fun. It's hilarious, the ridiculous stuff I come into contact with, like, on a daily basis. But what do you really want? Like, what is a quality family relationship? What is a quality hobby? What do you want? Do you want to retire in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years? Never. So, what do you really want out of life this year, next year, the year after? And you really need to have a 10-year window. Having a 10-year window is, enough in the future to have an idea, but it's not so far out that you can't even imagine yourself. Like, imagine myself when I'm 65, like who knows? But Jerry, that's such bullshit.
I'm hoping to
Such
retire in 10
bullshit.
years.
Jerry's the biggest liar out of the whole crowd. Jerry needs to be more honest next year for his New Year's resolution.
He's going to
wants
start again next
retire.
year. He's going to start again next year.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
That's awesome.
So, you know, think about what y'all really want out of life, you know, in the next 10 years. And the thing is that you cannot change your habit quickly. Like, you know, you can't change your habit without changing the cue and the reward. If you have like one book to read, pick up Atomic Habits. It's really interesting. It's about changing your life incrementally. So think about what you really want by writing your eulogy, and then work backwards from your eulogy to get what you want. And, you know, you may think about like, I want to live in a certain place. I want a certain house. I want a certain part of the country. I want a certain family makeup. I want a certain job. I want to, you know, well, go ahead. I mean, get started. But, you know, big changes are not going to stick. So you've got to realize that, you know, you got these habits, you've got to somehow not break, but you got to alter whatever habit is preventing you from getting there and go somewhere else and get what you want. So definitely, you know, go back in the video, check out all the prompts, go through them. And I find what's most helpful for me is to go through my personal objectives every week, every single week, no matter what, and mark off what you get done, because it's extremely satisfying to achieve these, you know, goals. And if you achieve one, it motivates you to get the other one. And, you know, it really keeps your energy up. So don't think about what you want in business this year. Think about what you want in your life, because you only got one life to live. Make sure you do it and get started, because you probably have a long time, but you may not. So who knows? But have fun doing it. And remember to delegate one thing per quarter. So just get rid of one thing that you really don't like every quarter, and keep, you know, the percentage of what you really enjoy doing will continue to expand. And it works, you know, it definitely works. If you do have a business, think about, you know, talk to the E-Myth people, EOS, you know, the systems are amazing. Strategic Coach is amazing. And if you feel like you're struggling with your life goals or your primary aim, or achieving your personal desires, you may want to consider getting a life coach. You know, they're very cheap, and it's basically someone to bounce ideas off of and to help keep you accountable for what you want to do. And it's amazing how like your spouse or your best friend can do the same thing for you, you know, keep you accountable, keep you happy, keep you motivated. So, you know, just realize that you have 2024, but you may not have 50, 60, 20, whatever more years. So get started and, you know, do what you want and don't waste any time. Now, as an appendix to this presentation, I'd like Trent to tell us how he gets all this stuff done, you know, because I feel like Trent's like 5 clones just all running in different directions.
Right. No, you know, just same. Get a lot of help from the office. I've been good and doing better about delegating as well. Even from just the business growth standpoint, like I sent out every invoice out of my company for 13 years. And I finally hired somebody. I didn't do construction billing for 2 months, and I finally was like, oh, I gotta hire somebody. And so I finally hired somebody to do invoicing. But from there, we went from say like a 5, maybe 5.2 million. It freed up more time, and then we jumped to like a 6 and then a 6.5, right? I mean, just
Yeah.
by doing one little thing that holds you back, which is a lot of time. But yeah, I mean, just one little delegation can, in that instance, I mean, we went, like I said, just grew $1 million plus a year just by delegating somebody doing invoicing. So
That's awesome. You know,
yeah.
it
But
reminds me of what you just said, Trent, reminds me of this diagram I have. And I have like a group of
Yeah.
pictures I keep with me. And like, Trent was busy doing the $10 task here, which
Exactly.
is complete waste of time. And
Exactly.
he had time to make up a new idea, which is the $1,000 task.
Yep.
So he had, he saved himself 2 hours. So he spent 1 hour on growing his business. And, no wonder why he did so much better,
Right.
because he stopped wasting his time on these,
Exactly.
worthless tasks, and, used his unique ability, which is a business owner, and didn't waste his energy.
Yep.
And that's the last thing is, we all have a certain amount of energy. Like I cannot work after 12 o'clock, like anything like, writing test questions, writing testimony, whatever. If it's afternoon, I'm done. Like I'm just too tired to think about it. I'll do the $10 task if I have to at 2 o'clock. But, really manage your energy this year and spend your energy doing the worthwhile things, and don't waste your energy on all this, $10 administrative recurring task. So Trent learned his lessons.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's a good one. And then
But
go
I
ahead.
still think Trent is like the guy on Multiplicity, where he has like
Exactly.
4, clones running around, and the wife doesn't know which one is the real person and which one is the clone.
Fortunately, they've not all degraded after everyone has been created. They're at least all pretty close to the same level.
That's so
So,
funny.
yeah, no. A couple other ones. When you talk about the books, so everything I do is Audible. That way, like I'm riding the bike in the morning or whatever, or running. I always have podcasts.
Multitasking,
Yeah, and so
listen to a
you
good book.
do a lot of audibles. The other one is a good one from a kind of like you're talking about the EOS ones. 5 a.m. Club is really another good one.
Okay.
So those are kind of cool. But yeah, no, my morning's 3:15 in the morning. I'm at the exercising and then trying to get here. And that was one of the things I changed this year because our business wasn't as great last year. So getting back and getting here at the office first thing in the morning and changing all of that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
focusing on that, cleaning up some things. So that was kind of my goal this year as well.
Wow, 3:15 a.m.
Yeah.
The problem with me is audiobooks put me to sleep. So like I start an audiobook and I'm asleep in like 2 minutes.
Okay.
It's really dangerous.
No, I do like I said, I'll ride like a training bike in the morning or whatever and that kind of stuff. So it keeps you moving. But yeah, changing things. Personnel, like you said, talk about I think Troy was talking about putting right people in the right places, having those conversations early on at the beginning of the year, right? Having your staff with setting personal goals and that kind of stuff.
That's great.
Helps as
Yeah.
well. So yep.
We say grow or go. You have
Yeah.
to continually improve yourself, or you have to leave the organization.
Right. Yeah,
It's kind
that's
of,
perfect.
it's just
Yeah.
fair. I mean, you got,
No, it's
and
perfect.
like, something like we have a babysitter. What's your personal goal? I'm going to take a CPR course this month, and I'm going to do the in-person lesson next month for toddlers. Great goal. Something doesn't have to take 4 hours of your day. Just do something this month, anything.
Yep.
What's your morning routine like, Trent?
Well, now it's wintertime, so it's anywhere between say 10 to 20 miles on the bike, rowing, and then now that it's winter and it's kind of cold, Camaro's she's got to walk miles a day. Usually it's a 3 mile, couple miles in the morning, a couple miles at night. Now it's down in the wintertime, so we're down to like a mile and a half ish a day in the morning,
Okay.
mile and a half at night. But most times out, and then I'll run anywhere between a 5 and a 10K a day. So
Got to get your workout before you go to work.
yeah, exactly.
That's great.
So yeah, no, it's a good one. So I saw there's another Josh that just jumped on here. We're about ready to wrap up, but this will be posted back online. So I think his video just turned off, but so those that just jumped on late, we'll have all this posted up today or tonight or tomorrow. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And this is your life. Don't let other people tell you how to run your life.
Right.
Don't
Exactly.
let other people give you your schedule or decide what you want to do best. I mean, this is your life. So, you got to take a hold of it, and you got to be accountable. So this is your life. Get started.
You only get so many trips around the sun.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, I really enjoyed it.
That was
Thank
awesome.
you for the enjoying the short presentation. I had a good time, and I'm going to go back and look at my personal objectives tomorrow, make sure they're 100% for the new year, and
There you go.
get started.
That's awesome. I love it. That was great. Thank you.
Thanks,
Tony.
guys.
Awesome,
Thanks,
guys.
Tony.
Good to see everybody.
Have a good week, everybody.
Happy 2024.
There you
Get
go.
started.
That's right. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.